Hey friends, how's it going? Ash here. Welcome back to Gent Scents. I hope you're doing well. Today I got 15 clone fragrances that smell like they're way more expensive than they actually are, which to be fair with clone fragrances is not always the hardest thing to do, to smell more expensive than it costs, because typically clone fragrances are affordable. But I have 15 here that definitely punch outside of their weight class if we're talking about their price point. And a lot of these are fragrances that I haven't talked about before. So some of these are newer, some are lesser known, because I didn't want to go with just all the most obvious hits. So I worked in a whole bunch here that are less obvious. All of them are linked in the description below. Feel free to check them out down there, and feel free to check out and use these codes. There is a new code for Fragbar, which is Gents10. So if you use that website, use Gents10 for 10% off. They do have a lot of clones there, as well as, of course, Triple Traders, which has a lot of clone fragrances. All right, let's kick it off. The first fragrance is from Fragrance World, and it's called Posh Mirage. This one is a clone of Fragrance Du Bois' Cannabis Blue. So starting it off with an interesting one, like I said, a little bit different. So this is a scent profile that's not gonna work for everybody, which is probably not a big surprise because, I mean, the name is Cannabis Blue. You already know what one of the notes is, right? Yeah. Blue. But then there's also eucalyptus in here. That's one of the notes off the top. It's gonna give you a very unique scent structure. It's fresh, it's green, it's both clean and a little bit funky at the same time. But if you're looking for an alternative to Fragrance Du Bois Cannabis Blue, then Posh Mirage right here will do that for you. Let's follow that one up with Luciano's Sunset Swim. Not named after Lucky Luciano, I'm assuming. But anyway, Sunset Swim, this is a clone, as you can probably tell by looking at the bottle here, of Louis Vuitton's Afternoon Swim. Yeah, that's one thing that we see over and over again, is that Louis Vuitton clones nowadays are just, you know, straight up copying the look of the bottle. Unfortunately, no magnetic cap. I will say the most noticeable difference between this and Afternoon Swim is right off the top. I'm talking the first 15 seconds. If you spray on Sunset Swim and you immediately go in for a whiff, it does smell like a much cheaper citrus than you're gonna get with Afternoon Swim. Just let it settle for legitimately 15 to 30 seconds though. It smells fantastic. So it's a really nice, clean citrus fragrance. It does smell much more expensive than it costs. Next one is from Swiss Arabian, and this stuff is just really killer. This was part of a haul. I bought a whole bunch of fragrances from Joma Shop. This was one of them, and it was one of the standout fragrances of that entire haul. So good. It's this one right here, Shagaf Oud Azrak. I like the look of the bottle. It has kind of a, I don't know, kind of like a matte finish to it, I guess. Quality on this is extremely high. Smells absolutely killer, especially off a tester strip. Smells great off skin too, but yeah, it smells similar to Montal's Honey Oud, which is one of my favorite Montal fragrances ever. And this really just nails that. So this has that woodiness, that oud, where it has just like the faintest touch of like a little medicinal flair to it, but then you have that dark honey that's right there with it, and it balances everything out. It gives it this really pleasant sweetness, a big push, you know, a lot of performance here, a lot of projection, longevity, and it's just an amazing bang for your buck. This is killer. Now, I've talked about this one a number of times, Sapil Bound. This is a clone of Armani Code Profumo. And with Armani Code Profumo becoming harder to find, this is a great alternative. When I bought this from Joma Shop, it was under $15. I'm not sure exactly what it goes for now. I don't know if they've bumped it up a little bit, but still yet, at the price point it goes for, just a crazy deal. Presentation is pretty cheesy, you know, it looks cheap. The cap is lightweight, it, you know, doesn't look particularly great, and they slap a sticker on the back to try to make it look like there's faux stitching over this kind of like leather. So, I mean, presentation-wise, it's not great looking, but what's on the inside is really nice for the price point. Next one is from Arabiat Prestige, and it's called Ariz. Heavy in the hand, feels of good quality. Cap is decently heavy as well and has a really nice atomizer. Now this one is not a direct clone of one fragrance. This is like a hybrid fragrance, you know, two scents put together. essentially like Power Rangers.
Ready, team? Ready!
That's what you have going on here, except instead of 5 fragrances being put into one, I wonder if that would work. But instead of 5, it's 2. And the 2 fragrances that come together here, it's basically Tiger from Bulgari mixed with Sospiro's Vibrato. So those 2 fragrances put together, that's what this is. And if you're not familiar with those, or only familiar with one of those, you may say, well, why does that make sense? Well, because those 2 fragrances actually get compared to each other, that they smell similar to each other. Now, I know it comes in this kind of, I don't know, pea pink bottle. So you would look at that and maybe think, well, probably more for ladies, right? No, not really. No, it's a unisex fragrance, just like Vibrato and Tiger. The citrus here smells so good off the top. And it has a little green tinge off the top, so that's where you're gonna get that Sospiro in here. A little bit fresh spice, a little pop off the top there. Really, really well done. So if you're looking for a blend of those 2, check this out. It is freaking good. Obvious one, gonna get this out of the way, Detour Noir, Al Haramain. Smells like Parfums de Marly Layton. So Layton on the cheap, that's what you've got going on right here. Of course, really well done for the price point, not very expensive at all. Bottle's ugly, yes, that is true. And yes, my writing on the front is not really legible anymore, but Detour Noir does remain a very affordable, very high quality clone of Parfums de Marly Layton. So if you want Layton, you don't want to spend Layton money, Detour Noir is a great fragrance to check out. One of the more hyped, more well-known of all the ones we'll talk about here today, but still worth mentioning. It's a great one. Newer one from Armaf, Odyssey Oud. Yeah, this is part of their Odyssey collection, which they've really been fleshing out, just dropping a whole mess load of Odyssey fragrances here lately. This one I bought from Joma Shop. It took a minute to get to me because it's one of those deals where it says, you know, shipping in 2 to 3 weeks or something. Bought it anyway, and it did finally arrive. And it's really well done. Didn't bother to look this one up before I ordered it because I just ordered all the Odyssey fragrances that they had on there essentially. And when I got it in, sprayed it on, it was, you know, immediately apparent what it was. It was one of those deals where you smell it and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I know what this is. This is more of like an Oud for Greatness kind of clone. I've worn it a couple times now. It did come in, you know, not that long ago, so I haven't been able to wear it a whole bunch or anything, but it seems to have really good performance, which you would expect from an Oud for Greatness clone. Now check this one out. This one is actually really, really stupid good. It's called Sharaf Blend by Zemaya. Now, when you look at the bottle, you're gonna know what this is. Now, when I placed my order for this, there were no pictures. I didn't really go in and try to look it up that much, but when I opened up the box, I was like, okay. So here it is. You know what's going on here, right? Angel Share, really, really good looking. And on top, looks pretty nice. Got the name of the fragrance in the house in kind of a gold sticker, like a plastic sticker, I don't know. But yeah, it looks great. It really does. And then, take that off there. Look at that little gold around the atomizer as well. Now this is a little twist on Angel Share. It's not exactly a one-to-one, and I'll tell you what the difference is. There's a good amount of vanilla in here, all of that you expect, that kind of booziness. It's basically Angel Share, but with an addition of dates. That's what you have here with Sharaf Blend. Then another Posh. This one is Posh Malt. Again, Fragrance World. Now Posh Malt, you probably have a good idea of what this is going to be. It is pure malt. And that's interesting because Fragrance World already has a pure malt clone with Starman Nebula. Posh Malt though, I think, could be better. So obviously with this Posh line of clones, they're not cloning like a particular house or a particular line. It's just, I guess, whatever they want to clone. So Posh Mirage, again, Fragrance Du Bois, Cannabis Blue, Posh Malt, that is pure malt. Very hard to find nowadays, very expensive. And between Nebula and Posh Malt, I think I'm going Posh Malt. Rue Braca Theorem is up next. This one you can typically find really cheap online, and that's part of Afnan. This is a clone of Bulgari's Tiger. So whereas this guy right here is Tiger mixed with Vibrato, this is just Tiger. So a similar kind of feel to this one here, where you're gonna get that really nice citrus opening, smells much higher quality, much more expensive than what this cost. Lovely fragrance for nearly year round. And if you're looking for just a straight up Tiger clone on the cheap, this is gonna be one of the best ones out there on the market, period. Another one from Maraviat Prestige, this one is Niall Queen. And I've talked about this once before. This is a clone of YSL's Baby Cat. Baby Cat has been a fragrance that people have been clamoring over ever since it came out. It's not really something that's super easy to find, especially if you're not wanting to pay an arm and a leg for it. And so people have been asking me, hey, do you know a clone of this, a clone of this, a clone of this, clone of this? And I really haven't, but now, as I said before when I talked about this, I do. The vanilla in here is really, really, really good. Off the top, you can pick it up and it's just so, you know, decadent, rich, a little bit smoky, and off the skin, it lasts forever. Now this next one is one that I've wanted for a while, or a clone of this fragrance for a while. And there were maybe 2 or 3 clones that came out where people were like, oh, I think this is a clone of that fragrance. Then I would get them in and they would suck. And so I was just like, are we ever gonna get a clone of this fragrance? Or like, what's going on? It's Fragrance World Jack of Clubs. And this is a clone of La Nuit de l'Homme Bleu Electrique. Which I know, I can hear it now. People in Europe or wherever saying, hey man, it's not discontinued here. And I would say, happy for you. I'm so happy. So Jack of Clubs, this one is a clone of Bleu Electrique. And I had actually heard about this a while ago and it sold out most places, so I couldn't get my hands on it. Finally did. And it's really close. I mean, is it the exact same as Bleu Electrique? No, not the exact same, but to be fair, are clones ever the exact same? No. Another nice thing about this one is the box actually comes with a little pack of cards in there, so yeah. I mean, a lot of people, I guess, are not gonna care because they're not gonna use the pack of cards, the deck of cards, but it's still cool to have it in there. So lovely fragrance and really, really close to Bleu Electrique. Finally, something that can kind of help replace that for people. Fragrance World again with the next one, and it's called Hard Wood. This is a clone of Mahogany Wood from Bath and Body Works, which I know that doesn't sound like the greatest thing ever. It's like, Bath and Body Works, why do I give a crap about that, man? But if you were not around back in the day, which wasn't even that long ago, allow me to explain. Mahogany Woods was like the go-to Bath and Body Works fragrance for people that really liked fragrances. It was a really nice, kind of boozy, vanilla, woody scent. Had amber in there, you know, just a touch of spice. It was the go-to. It was the go-to. The quality was actually really good for Bath & Body Works, and a lot of people loved that one. And then it got discontinued. And then the price went up through the roof. When it got discontinued, I actually went and scooped up a few bottles of Mahogany Wood, so I'm good on that one. So right now on eBay, if you look up Mahogany Woods, the fragrance, it's going for like $200, $300 a bottle. It's ridiculous. But it was really, really solid. And Hard Wood is like a dead ringer for that one. Because as I said, I own Mahogany Woods, multiple bottles, and I've compared this side by side. It is goofy close, like just silly. So this one is an amazing alternative to that one that you should know about. And I know that there's like mahogany teak wood or something at Bath & Body Works. That's not what we're talking about, so don't get confused. Then we have Celestial from Paris Corner, Emir. This is a clone of Ganymede. And this one I think is very well done as well. The presentation is, I don't know, I still don't know how I feel about this. Part of me hates it, part of me thinks it's okay. But it gets that mineral kind of sweetness and freshness that Ganymede has. That minerality, that kind of slate rock with water creeping through it, that kind of feel. Ganymede maybe not as much of a hype beast as it once was when it was really kind of popping and getting everybody's attention, but I think it's still an extremely well done fragrance. I like Ganymede a lot. The original, I like a little more than the Extrait. This is a really good alternative to that, so Ganymede on the cheap. Last but not least, Club de Nuit Milestone. It's a clone of Millésime Imperial from the House of Creed, which of course, the House of Creed, the fragrance is done by master perfumer Scott Stapp, really well known, I feel like. Can't wait for their new fragrance, Higher Absolute. Back to reality though, this is a great alternative to Millesime Imperial. Smells very close, and probably one of the best ones, if not the best actually, for that fragrance. Now, Millesime Imperial does not get the level of hype of Ventus, Green Irish Tweed, or Silver Mountain Water, but for a lot of people out there, Millesime Imperial would actually be the fragrance of choice over those. So I wanted to highlight Milestone, a really good one. Well done, Armaf. So there we go. These right here, these all smell so much higher quality than what their price point is. And some of them are just frankly absurd with how good they smell for how cheap they are. I want to thank you guys for hanging with me. Stay safe out there. I'll see you guys tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you later.